Things not working out actually works out for you. I know that sounds crazy. Nevertheless, sometimes we don't know why things turn out the way they do. I just know from previous experience that things not working out actually works out for me. So that's lesson number one. Here are my weekly lessons learned a day later. Yesterday was MLK Day, so I decided to just rest, okay? So, lesson number two, take your own advice. We tend to give away advice that we need to be taking for ourselves. So, take your own advice. That's lesson number two. Lesson number three, stop underestimating yourself. Because winning starts here before it even starts out there. It starts in here, okay? So, you can get your head out, your life will follow. Lesson number four. I heard a pastor say this, and I said, you know what? I totally agree. When I am in purpose, it feels amazing. It feels amazing to turn the camera on and to share lessons and to teach and just talk. That feels amazing. When I'm in purpose, it feels amazing. So I want to invite you, when you're doing certain things, how does it feel in your body? Does it feel like stressful? Does it feel amazing? Okay, because when you're in purpose, it feels amazing. That's lesson number four. And lesson number five, unprocessed emotions often turn into triggers. Unprocessed emotions often turn into triggers. And if you don't believe me, there's this book called The Body Keeps Score. And it talks about how unprocessed emotion shows up, maybe in our stomach, maybe in our chest, right, in our legs, and like different parts of our body. The trauma, the unprocessed pain, it causes different health issues when you don't process those things, right? So that is what I wanted to share. Unprocessed emotions turn into triggers, and it also, if you never address it, it can make you toxic. Right? I was toxic and didn't even know it. Let me talk about me. I was toxic and didn't even know it. I had so much trauma and so much unprocessed pain. And I was walking around wounding other people because I had not processed my emotions. I had not processed that hurt. I never processed the rejection. Didn't even know the rejection was running my life. Okay? And so there's so many things that I had to work on. So healing is unlearning and learning at the same time. It's going back to that time where that thing happened and not changing, because you can't change what happened, but you can change the way you look at it. And so that for me is the journey to healing. Going back to that story, going back to that incident, right? And reframing that in my head so I don't continue to walk forward making those decisions based off those limiting beliefs, off the lies, right, that I created in my head. And I'm telling you, I operated like that for a long time. Last night, I was sitting there processing something I shared, and the pastor was talking about how when God removes people in our lives, he had this analogy. He's taking a person out your life like that right there, and all we see is the back of that person leaving. And sometimes we'll go and we'll get that person back and bring them back into our lives because we don't understand that God has removed that person, and we think it's something wrong with us, and we start to internalize it. So we think if we bring them back, then that means that we're okay, we're good, right? Everything's okay. Like, and I did that, right? So the relationship was over, but I kept going back, kept calling, kept, whatever that person needed, I was there, right? Even if they had ex, that's what I wanted to do, because I didn't want to be left, because being left reminded me of my father not being in my life. So it was rejection issues. It was abandonment issues. Okay? And so I was starting negotiating. I didn't say it out loud, but my body was saying that. Oh, it's okay if you do all these things. I'm going to still be here. Like, I'm here for you. I'm there. Like, whatever you need, I'm here. Right? Negotiating because I didn't want to be left. Because truth be told, my abandonment and my rejection issues had me leaving people, hurting people before they have a chance to leave me. Because I didn't want to be the one being left. Because that was the old belief. That was the old story that I was living and operating from for decades. So when this person decided to leave me, it was like, nobody leave me, I leave them. So that threw me off. Like, it literally threw me off. Like, what you mean? What you mean you going? What you mean? What? Like, I don't understand it. We talked about all this stuff at the beginning. Now all of a sudden you done change your mind. But I didn't see God's hand was like, I like this right here, pulling that person out. And I was going back. You want me back? You take me back? I mean, even if I can have crumbs, I'll take that. Even if I can just have the crumbs, I'll take that. Okay? That's my story. That was the old story. I had to heal that. He'll keep using that person to reroute you out their life. And I never forget, that person said something to me, and that was like a slap, a punch in the face. And that day, I decided I was done. I was done trying to bring people back in my life that God had removed. I was done with that. Right? That person who I used to be no longer exists. I love and appreciate her for getting me as far as she did. Excuse me, but I had to go rescue not only her, I had to rescue myself and my little girl, because I was operating from that for decades. And I hurt a lot of people because I was hurting. Now, it's not an excuse. It's never an excuse. Nevertheless, it's my truth. So, yeah. I'm complete. I want to leave it right there because I feel like that's enough somebody need to hear. And also, I'm listening to an amazing word this morning, and it talks about how unforgiveness takes up the space for hope. And I had to consistently forgive, because every time I saw that person, I cannot stand it. I felt like stuff in my, I felt triggered. Saw the person he moved on with. Oh my God, I can't believe them. Like, me? They did this to me? Triggered. Every time I remembered, every time I saw, every time I heard, every time I saw a car that looked like the car the person had, I had to forgive over and over and over again, because for unforgiveness takes up so much space. I can't allow the people to continue to take up space. They ain't paying no rent. They ain't paying no mortgage here. I had to release that consistently. Okay? Forgiveness allows you to make room for hope. I had to forgive others, and I had to forgive situations. And most importantly, I had to forgive myself. Yeah. This was my weekly lessons learned. I thank you. I'll see you in the next video.